Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I am back on No Man's Sky. It has been a little bit of time since I've recorded anything. I did actually go away on holiday for a while. I went away for a few days, and I came back with a foul cold, which is quite ironic because it was actually really hot where I was. And then in the meantime, I actually got a new PC, so that's obviously something cool. But it's taken me some time to get it set up and get things configured and things. And I'm hoping I've actually tried to record this episode 4 times and had problems with it every time. Nothing particularly major, just kind of what you always get when you're trying to set up a new PC to record. I've sort of forgotten all the things I'd done on the old machine, so probably I'm going to do a quick stop just there, just to check everything's working okay, and then I'll carry on. Alright, be back in a sec. Hey guys, okay, so we do seem to be all good. Finally this time it seems to be recording. I was getting it recording, it just was audio was like really choppy for some reason. I don't know why. I had it before a while ago when I had a fan that was blowing on the microphone. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I just like to just a sort of a quick video, try and get back in the swing of doing videos really. So this is my kind of starter base on No Man's Sky. I have done a bit of work and a bit of grinding. I'm sort of fairly reasonably into the missions. I've got a pretty basic ship. It's not terrible. It's a what is it? Yeah, it's a max level shuttle, so it's pretty decent and it's A class, so it's not terrible. It's doing the job for me at the moment, and what I'm mostly focused on really is just the utility of building really. So anything that's a ship is not really that important to me, other than just the fact that it can get me what I need. So yeah, so I've done what I've done sort of build wise so far. It's just sort of experimentation really at the moment. We're on this very nice planet, so don't really have to worry about kind of climate and things. So what I've done really at the moment is I've been playing around with the decorative pieces, the sort of, I think they're kind of almost like facade kind of pieces, these as building blocks. So what my intention is to combine those pieces, the sort of facade pieces, with the actual building components, and I'll talk you through kind of why I'm doing that, or what the logic is behind that. I really like some of these aesthetic pieces, or these facade pieces, but the textures aren't all that exciting, and you can't do an enormous amount of them. You can paint them, but they do have some cool shapes, so you can do things like this. So what my plan is to effectively have a shell that's built out of those, and then embed inside that the building components. So you can see here, this is the only seems to be the only time you can actually clip things together. This game is slightly crying out for a sort of no clip method, or S plus, like the S plus equivalent from Ark Survived and Evolved. So I will be doing things that seem probably in initial stages look a bit odd, like that looks a bit weird at the moment. But if you look at the way I've hidden it away here, that's kind of my intention for the inside. So what it'll effectively end up being is like a shell, internal shell, or the internal structural walls that are built out of the building components, but then the actual framework of the building from the outside will be built out of these pieces, these aesthetic pieces. And you also notice that I've done, so I'm not using the flooring, from here, or this flooring over here throughout. I'm going to use the paving. I probably will combine that, so I've done stuff like that. The game has got weird things, to be honest. So for example, you can't place this large refinery on the paving, but you can place a wall, or you can't place. I don't know why you can't place these vaults inside. So I've had to do some stuff where I've raised the terrain. So I've actually got a hole here. I raised the terrain up so I could put this first one down, and the others actually clip off and are supported by the first one. So yeah, just to take you through what I've kind of... So I've done... Yeah, so the idea is it's going to be... this sort of internal structure is going to sit inside here. So there'll be like a corridor wall. I'm not sure how much of this is going to stay and how much of this is going to change, but for now this is what I've got. So there won't be a hole here, obviously there'll be a wall there. So you'll come in through the front door and you'll go left into this refinery room. And I just started to play around with some of the aesthetic pieces like that, just because it makes it a bit more interesting. So the reason why partly the reason why I use the paving is because if I just show you what I'm talking about. So if I use one of these pieces, these wall pieces, the floors are really useful, but they force you into a snap point. So that effectively limits you to a shape, and limits you to pretty much it ends up being a square in a lot of cases. Whereas if you use the paving, you can get a flat surface, but place these, and you can use the snaps there. So if you looked, it will let me snap that at 90 degrees, but it will also let me effectively free place that at any angle I want to. So there will be some challenges with that, because, for example, when I want to put a roof on this, so if I was doing that, for example, and then I wanted to put some sort of roof structure over the top of it, I wouldn't have the right pieces because it wouldn't be, the angles wouldn't match up. So that is partly why, I've ended up thinking that a good way to go would be to use these things combined, because then it really doesn't matter what the internal walls are doing, because you'll only be able to see, when you're inside the building, you'll only be able to see the internal walls, and you're on the outside of the building, you'll only be able to see these external walls, and you won't necessarily see the fact that there are gaps in places. So for example, if we look here, right now, that looks silly, but if I was to either do that, which it won't let me do at the moment, but or put in some of another couple of these, see if I've actually got the right building components on there. I'm not sure I'm gonna. You get these weird things with hitport, with clashing and stuff that are just annoying as heck. But say I was to do something that kind of hid the view of the fact that was there. Like, I'm definitely going to get challenges with this, because it's going to be... Oh, that's actually saying that I haven't got enough fairy dust, that's fine. It's going to be a challenge to kind of hide and mask and cover things up, but that's kind of what I'm going to go for. I think it's going to potentially work. And if it doesn't, then I'm learning something about the game. See that? I mean, you can do stuff like that. So why can't I? Obviously, that's not great, but why can't I just put it back here and let it clash? Like, why do game developers do this thing where they care about things clashing together? Like, it completely is letting me do it there. I don't know why it's not letting me do it next to it. Anyway, so yeah, and so I did so in order to I wanted to get some sort of non-uniform structures, and my Arc days have taught me the things that are not square look better, and you're forced to use these rooms, and so I wanted to make sure I wasn't using the rooms in a way that was just one room stuck next to another one, because in a lot of places you're going to link these together, and then you're going to be either at a 90 degree or a 45 degree or a 180 degree or whatever. But that I wanted to have a bit more flexibility than that. So again, if you put these these paving slabs down, then you can put the rooms on top of the paving slabs. You only need a little bit of it to be clipping onto the paving for it to allow you to put that up on the level. So what I've done is actually put the room on the paving and then built down from the room. So if we jump down here, this is actually, it looks like it's free floating. And it's free floating because it's sitting on that paving. I actually don't mind this design as well though, so I'm going to use that somewhere. So what I'm going to do probably next, so I've built 3 rooms at the moment, and I've got my armourer dude in there, my Gek dude in here, overseer, and then the dock, what are these guys, Vikings? Is it Vikings, that one? I can't remember, is that the other guy? I can't remember. In this room. And I'm probably going to take this out so that I can then rotate the door around so that they're all sort of facing into this central courtway. Do you think that'd be cooler? And what I probably am going to do underneath, and this will probably be the next episode, so this is probably going to be a short episode, is I'm going to kind of create them little, almost like living quarters underneath. So, because obviously these rooms by themselves are pretty boring. Even with the windows in, they look pretty boring. But I have done things like, there are actually quite a pleasingly large amount of aesthetic items in the game. So just doing things like that make a difference. And actually I didn't realise before, but this is actually a free supply of resources. I don't know whether it respawns that. But yeah, you can build those. Like, so I built that and put it down. It just gives it a bit more texture, a bit more interest, and same in here. Just little bits and pieces to give it a bit more interest. And then the last thing I've done is just create a garden. Again, it's sort of annoying, but I think at this stage of building, you're quite limited to your options. So the most efficient way to build a biodome is to have the door come up, the ladder come up from underneath. The ladders I find really annoying because it just kind of throws you onto them all the time, or you fall in the hole if they're down below. But yeah, so probably the next thing you'll see, probably in the next episode, will be that I've built some of these rooms out. Alright guys, so yeah, just wanted to give you a quick update and just to let you know I've not kind of disappeared or anything. So yeah, and I will be back on Ark soon, and back on Frostpunk soon, and yeah, so yeah, have a good one, take it easy, catch you soon.